Welcome to our Saturday update where we like to look at some bigger time frames. So we will be focusing on those daily and weekly charts. And tomorrow, if you want to subscribe, tomorrow we'll get you those updated weekly expected moves. Those are our 68% zones. And we have been kind of in the middle of those for a bit, but we keep coming down and tagging the lower end, coming to tag the top, coming to tag the lower. We've seen a lot of weeks now where we have tagged one side of the weekly expected move, but we're going to give you something in this video that can help you on the macro scale when we're actually able to break this range. Very, very important because in the thumbnail, you actually might have noticed that I put in there, war will crash markets, war will crash the SPY. Now, that's in quotation marks because that's a topic that's being discussed on social media. And this is where I just wanted to put out there that the things we're going to do is the technical side. We are not paying attention to those type of comments. I think that we're in a spot where a lot of people use or want to use technical analysis, but their vision gets clouded by things from the outside, narratives from the outside, so that people can get clicks and things like that. So I wanted to put that in the beginning of this video. This video will be going over the technical side, not considering anything that's really going on out there, but just where do the technicals stand? Because if you follow the technicals, they will almost 90% of the time tell you when times are risky. They will tell you when there's topping signals. They will tell you when you should not be in a bullish trade, when you should not be in a bearish trade. And we're going to go over those things a lot tomorrow with the 2-hour chart. But for today, we're going to give you those levels that you can actually use for the whole month of March. We're going to give you some critical levels that are calculated using the options data for the SPY, for the Qs, for IWM, and then we're going to take a look over at volatility. So let's get into it. So there's pretty much narratives, there's analysis with those narratives or biases in mind, and then there's your analysis. And I really wanted to make that a big thing at the beginning of this video and say, this stuff that you do using technicals and things like that, you don't really want to throw it out of the window just because someone on Twitter is telling you something is going to happen. The charts will tell you exactly what those people are saying, if it is going to come to fruition, if it is going to be true. And we're going to talk about a lot of that on the shorter time frames tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed and notifications on. We'll put that video out tomorrow in the early afternoon. But what can I actually utilize, right? If I ignore all of the noise out there, what can I actually utilize in March if we're going to break this range? Well, something that I really like are monthly expected moves. If you followed me on Twitter or anything like that, X, I guess it is, then you probably saw that I put, man, I'm so excited going into the weekend, getting new updated monthly expected moves. Now, why would I be excited about that? Well, because you notice here in January, we did not tag a monthly expected move. You'll notice in February, we did not tag the monthly expected move. The last time we tagged a monthly expected move, I believe, was back here in December when we saw this upward push. So very, very interesting for the market to do this, because this means that normally, when you do see these levels, the levels for the month of March for the SPY will be 715.24. This will be 656.74. When you do see this, you know one thing, right? 75% of the time, you will tag a monthly expected move. And we haven't done that in a couple of months. So that tells me something, right? These are mutually exclusive things. It's kind of like flipping a coin. The percentages stay the same every single start of every single month. But when you have 2 months where you haven't tagged it, aka you have 2 months where you are in some way consolidating, you look for a break, because when that break does happen, the extension or the drop is most likely to take you to the monthly expected move. If you see something crazy, we can put out second standard deviation monthly expected moves. That takes this 68% zone that's right here, calculated by the options data, and you can get the second standard deviation. It might say, hey, we're coming down to 620 or something like that. That would be your 95% zone. So we will put out that information if we see some rapid things happening in the market. But as of right now, these are some great levels, right? This is paying attention to technicals. This is paying attention to data at the same time to actually give you an edge in the market. Reading some guy that said bearish things for the last 6 months, or even in some cases, I'm seeing 3 years worth. Reading into that is a lot worse than just saying, hey, this actually has data behind it. This is what the options market is expecting. In fact, we gave out those annual expected moves in pink here. And you'll notice that the last time we had annual expected moves, right? Everyone's saying we're going to crash down to zero. This is where your annual expected move was for 2025. That was the downside move. And the upside move was all the way up here. So we were able to, one, tag the bottom side of the annual move and then go tag the top of it by the end of the year. But we did not crash in this area, and we did not call a crash in this area here. We were calling out some kind of bottom. Obviously, up here, we did have those topping signals. People still saying that this is the same as this. We have consolidated for so long that anyone saying that this is exactly the same as right over here is blatantly lying to you according to the signals. So how can we utilize this information? Right now we have some data points. We have 7:15:24. We have 6:56:74. Well, we can easily say this. If we are able to cross below this line, and we are most likely able to see some kind of roll, where would that roll take us to? Well, that roll would most likely take us to that yellow bottom line, that monthly expected move. 75% of the time you will see a tag of those, and you haven't seen it in a couple months. So if we see a break here, we're going down or we're going up to that yellow line. So very important to do our job in the shorter time frames. Make sure you're here for tomorrow. But as of right now, the daily chart is crossed up in positive territory. So if this daily is not rolling to the downside at all, then you're not at risk of taking out this low, going to make a new one. Now, you will see that that marked itself as a higher low. But as of right now, you would say, hey, I would most likely need to see some kind of roll this week, right? We're going to talk about that throughout the week this week. So hopefully you do stick around so that you can get more information towards Thursday, Friday of next week, because that's when we'll actually see what's going on with this market, in my opinion. Now, the daily is crossed up in positive territory. It's right on the edge pretty much. So if it crosses down, bad. When it crosses down, you have to say, hey, we can start to head to that lower monthly expected move. But as it's crossed up, if you're able to get through this level, you can go up into these areas, break through these highs, make those new highs, maybe get some kind of retest, and then make your way to the upward monthly expected move. As of right now, that would be very, very good. Now, we're going to pull up a weekly chart here because we're just going to read into this. Most of the time, markets like to do what? When they are creating those topping signals, they like to give you a few curl ups on that MACD to create some divergences. Do we see those divergences right now? No, you do not. So if the weekly is able to curl up here, right, most likely that would be lagging behind. You probably want to keep paying attention to that daily, because this says that we can extend for quite some time. It says we can extend up to that area. But the main reason of looking at the weekly is to discuss how there's no divergence, right? Like this. We do not see that on the MACD as of right now. You have those daily divergences that are really just fizzling out and going sideways for the most part, as we have not seen a break. But the reason we're looking at this weekly is to suggest that, hey, the bullish thing can continue. All that has to happen are some breakouts, and then all that has to happen is a weekly confirmation to the upside. So we're still going to pay attention to how we roll down. We're going to go over that in tomorrow's video, but right now we're crossed up into positive territory. So I'm not going to be hasty on calling some kind of stock market crash when, one, everything looks different here, the signals look different here, the dollar looks different here, and the weekly chart has no divergence at this point, while the daily chart is crossed up right by the center line. We're going to give you those levels for the Qs, right? Once again, these are 68% zones. They're not 100% zones. If they were, we'd be extremely rich. If something in the market gave you data that gave you 100% trades, that would be pretty crazy. And I would give it to you, because that's the whole point of this channel, is to be helpful. But there's some 2-hour things going on down here, probably some 2-hour things going on in here that we have to go over tomorrow. As of right now, if you had an argument for downside, it would be in the tech sector, in my opinion. Why is that? Because the daily chart is actually negative on this MACD. And if you're able to roll down in negative territory, you're at risk of breaking these lows. And most likely you would need to see some kind of rolling. Once again, these are not the weekly expected moves for next week. The weekly expected moves will be given out in tomorrow's video. We're mainly just going over those monthly charts. So as of right now, if you break these lows, where are you at risk of going? You're at risk of going down to the monthly expected move. Now, the shorter time frame is what's going to really do our homework here, because this is crossed up, but you would say that the Qs are the more risky one. So how can we read into these monthly expected moves in a helpful way? Well, we can read into maybe not the first move, but the second move. If we're able to break to that complete downside, right? If we're able to break down to that monthly expected move, would there be a divergence on this MACD? Would there be a divergence on this RSI? And the answer to that would be most likely not. That means if you break down to the monthly expected move and you get some kind of bounce that retests some areas to roll, that means that this area right over here would be extremely risky for markets. So if we see that, we have to be very much so on our toes. We're going to go over volatility in a moment to see if that's possible based on weekly charts. And I can guarantee you with the signal we have on weekly charts, it is a possibility. It is a probability. But right now we're crossed up. The SPY is still by that center line, and we're going to go over IWM. So let's talk about the other direction, right? Once again, the Qs being the harder of the three, in my opinion, because it is in negative territory, you have to be aware of the downside risk. But if I'm able to, if I just sat and I saw that this was able to go to that topside monthly expected move, right? Everyone gets really, really bullish up in here, and you're that guy that's kind of skeptical going, well, we have a 68% chance to land down. Well, then I would look for that pullback in this area to then confirm back up into positive territory. And maybe we head to a April monthly expected move, and this trade a little bit easier for the Qs specifically. Why would that be a good thing? Well, because as of right now, you have taken out the low as well. This does not necessarily look good for the Qs if it does roll. This looks like some form of consolidation in some way. You have taken out the previous low on the daily. So you made a new high, you took out the low, and then you went and you made this new one. So if you're able to roll right here, it would suggest continued downside according to price action. But if for whatever reason the Qs are able to pop up here, make that new high, you would look for the potential pullback to actually confirm into positive territory. So the good part about the Qs making a move up or down is it should give you a lot of clarity on which way this market wants to go for a little period of time. You most likely, if you break up to a monthly expected move, you will see a pullback to continue. But if you break down to the monthly expected move, you will see a bounce, dead cat bounce that then most likely will continue, which tells you that, yeah, maybe the first trade for the Qs is a little bit more difficult, but the second trade should be a little bit easier. Now, I think that IWM, and once again, the daily expected moves are not updated for IWM. I think I misspoke. You're supposed to get the monthly expected moves from Patreon, but since I misspoke, we'll give it away this month. How about that? We'll give you guys monthly expected moves for the IWM as well. Let me get those levels for you. I don't want to lie to you guys, right? If it's at the beginning of the video and I say it, I should probably hold to it, right? Be a man of my word. 277.29. We'll give this away for this month. We don't normally do this. And then 245.53. So 245.53. Coming down to my little blue line. So I'm just going to mark that off now so I'm not distracted, right? Just taking care of some cleanliness in my chart so that I can function very, very well here, not have any kind of messiness or anything like that. What's the big thing we see here from the daily charts? Before we even consider the 68% zone, what do we notice from the daily chart? Well, on the MACD, you were able to make this new high. On the price action, you were able to make this new high. You dipped down in some way. Most likely we could pull up fibs and things like that. We could do something like this. We could say, oh, we tapped into what? The golden pocket, right? So you tap into the golden pocket. And then what are you still waiting for? Well, as of right now, you're waiting for the IWM to resolve itself on the 2-hour chart. We're going to go over some of this stuff. But you can see here, there's no divergence. There's no daily lower high. There's nothing like this, right? There's nothing like this where you break this level and then you see that kind of dead cat bounce that then rolls as it grabs liquidity. You don't see that. So you don't see the lower high to suggest that we're going to see an extreme roll here. You also don't see any kind of divergence at this point. We don't see divergences. We don't see a lower high for the IWM, at least described by your indicators, which is a big deal. That means that I always pay attention when I see a look like this for continuation. A lot of the time, if you come to my videos and we see a move like this that heads up pretty rapidly, we start to see those little 2-hour divergences. You'll hear me say, look for the daily pullback and look for the daily to get by that center line eventually, where that would potentially be an opportunity. So if this daily is able to confirm up into positive territory, well, where can we potentially head to? Well, that would suggest that as that is confirmed and there is no failure, right? We always pay attention to failures. We're not 100% people here. We understand that we need an edge. We understand that everything's a probability. Nothing is 100% in markets is how I always treat things. If this is able to curl up right here on your MACD, see a nice confirmation right here, that actually would be a very good thing. That would suggest that IWM can extend up to 277.29. In fact, right here, the shorter time frames are what you're going to have to pay attention to for any kind of downside. Really, you can catch yourself anywhere in this area. You can come down to that move, but what do we know? So the kind of way you look at IWM is kind of like a mix of what we talked about on the SPY, a mix of what we talked about in the Qs. For upside for the IWM, if I get this confirmation, we are very, very likely to extend to 77.29 by the end of the month. But if we see a major breakdown early on and you see a big crash moment or something like that, right? If you're really worried about a crash, well, then you're very likely to hold up at that monthly expected move. And if you experience some kind of dead cat bounce, you then know that we can head to the downside. So the SPY would be related to, hey, if I see that confirmation to the upside, if we continue to stay confirmed for the SPY, then we can just head up if we break range to the top side monthly expected move. But how does IWM relate to the Qs? Well, this would relate to the Qs in the second move for the month of March if we end up heading to the downside. I like to talk about both directions, even though you guys know that for a long time now, you've heard me say that I think this consolidation for the SPY is going to resolve itself in some kind of upward squeeze, but I still pay attention to downside, and I'm still going to do that for you guys because that's exactly what I do for my own personal training. Trading. So I hope it does help you out. Is there an argument for the crash right now according to volatility? The answer to that is yes. Now, you don't have a perfect signal here, and that's why I've been very critical of it, and you have kind of indecision last week. You do have a divergence on your MACD, but it is not on the RSI at the same time. Usually, I like to see any kind of weekly divergences at the same time. You see all of those down towards 12.12 right here, and boom, to the upside. That's when I really start to pay attention. So do I think this market could extend all the way down to 12.12? Do I think we could see a squeeze? Maybe some kind of bounce that then squeezes even further, that then we can say that there's actual divergence on the MACD and RSI at the same time. I really would like to see that, but understanding that the risk is there because you do have one out of the two indicators suggesting it, and you're seeing that upward push. So it is getting it right as of right now. What on the daily chart is suggesting that we could see more disruption even sooner, right? Maybe going into next week. Well, we would pay attention if this daily is able to curl up before it is able to go negative, right? Because the volatility, the VIX, is in such a positive trend for the daily. Anytime that daily is able to curl up by the center line, even if we get all the way down into here and that curls up, I will have to be extremely cautious. Even if we end up coming all the way down like this and we get by that center line and confirm up into positive territory, that can be considered a higher low, and we will potentially be taking risk off of the table at that point. So even if we do experience a squeeze to the upside, volatility is kind of saying here, hey, I'm pretty likely to make at least one more push. You're kind of hoping if you're a bull that would be a lower high. Maybe we see some kind of squeeze to a monthly move. Then we're able to back off for a bit of time, see some volatility, and then we can see if we break lows, see if volatility is able to break out in some way. But that will be a period of time in March that we can pay attention to. Notice that reading into these macro side, reading into the weekly, into the daily, I can start to think of how I am going to think of charts going into March. Now that could change, but doing these kinds of things, I think it keeps the brain fresh. I think that most of the time when you do make plans like this and you read into charts before the month begins with fresh monthly expected moves, it can really, really help you out in your mentality for the month. And then you can kind of, let that social media go by the wayside, spend time with your free time with family and things like that. And when you're charting and things like that, you can just focus on the charts. I think that's very, very good. So the argument here for volatility is saying, hey, we do have somewhat of a weekly reversal signal that is suggesting that we can go through some kind of major disruption here, but it's not on the RSI at the same time. So we have to be very critical of it. Is the daily chart suggesting that volatility is completely done? Not necessarily at this point, because it is in such a positive trend. And the positive trend, you really want to pay attention to the significance of it, meaning how far is it from that center line? Could we experience a full week or two of positivity and still curl up into positive territory? And the answer to that question would be very much so yes. So we will be doing our homework with volatility over the next couple of weeks. We'll see if this is able to confirm up right away. That would mean it's risky right away. But for March, we still need to see what? We still need to see which way this range is actually going to break. And now we have those critical levels for March where we're 75% likely to tag one side, that if we do break a certain low or break a certain high, there's always the pullback chance to go up to a monthly expected move. But there's also, if you break the low and see some kind of bounce like this, there's always the chance to roll down as well. And we can treat the market very carefully that way. Hopefully you guys are out there trading like water. I hope you're enjoying the markets. I know a lot of people do not enjoy when markets are consolidating in some way. Patreon members, we will put out those monthly expected moves today, and Patreon members, we will potentially be putting out a video specifically for Patreon talking about monthly expected moves and talking about all the stocks that we talk about on the right side of your screen. Hey, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great Saturday, and tune into tomorrow's video so you can get updated weekly expected moves. All right, guys, have a good one. Peace out.